really just trying this out. But before I get started, I want to let you know the Jesus Rules hoodies are in, and I have like a ton of these just in my car, ready to give away. Or I guess sell in person. But yeah, I wanted to. I guess on these drives, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time. I'm on my way to practice right now, and I don't know. I've been told multiple times I should live stream, and I see people live streaming. I'm like, my thought is always like, is there? What's the point? Like, what? Like, why should I? What do I have to say that's really that important? Or what do any of us really have to say that's really that important? The Bible does talk about how, like, with many words, there is sin, right? The foolish man speaks too much. The foolish man speaks without listening. Um, James, the book of James says that you should be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. So like that's one of the things about posting videos all the time and like saying stuff all the time. It's like, yeah, YouTube wants you to post constantly, longer videos, more words. People want just like more and more and more. It's like that's not healthy. That's not good. There's just like a lot of room for error. There's a lot of room to just fall into sin. But then there's also really good things that come out of it, right? Like you build trust with more time together and just like more opportunities to preach. And I really wouldn't recommend anybody talk more, but I mean, maybe you guys see me like you only see me talking, so you think like, okay, maybe I talk a lot. But in general, for the people that know me, I'm not a talker. I don't talk a ton. For some reason, I just feel like when you say something, it should be important. Like you shouldn't just say something to say something. And I hear people do that all the time. They'll just talk just because they want to fill the silence, or I guess they have nothing better to do. I just feel like that's so wrong. The reason why you say something is it should be impactful. There should be a reason behind it. You should think about what you're saying before you say it. Um, but I guess I've maybe erred on the side of not saying enough. Um, and I think this is like a season where the Lord is just giving me a lot more words to say, like giving me boldness. The past 7 years, I spent studying scripture. I was saved 7 years ago. I was a Christian, became a Christian 7 years ago. And right away, like one of the first things I did when I became a Christian was start posting on Instagram, on social media, just sharing like everything I was learning. Because it was all so new to me. I guess I like grew up going to church and stuff, but I never really like understood it. I never really paid attention too much. So when I read the Bible for the first time, it was so new to me. It was so like every little thing I read was like just mind blowing. So I went on Instagram right away, started posting on my stories just everything I was learning, and like a lot of it wasn't right. Like I mean, there's a lot of false information out there, and I was just kind of sharing everything I was learning. Um, and even, well, this is kind of funny. So this was about 7 years ago, and this is like before TikTok was really big. This is before COVID, before like short form videos were exploding. So I was posting my stories, but then one day I met with my brother, and his daughter-in-law was there, or stepdaughter, and she's like 10 or 12 or something. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you and your friends go on Instagram? And she said, no, like that's for old people. Like we're on TikTok. And I'm like, what the heck is TikTok? She's like, yeah, it's what all our friends are using. So I looked at the platform. It was mainly just like little kids posting dumb things. And I like realized like, oh wow, this thing's gonna be huge. So then I started posting like videos of me preaching the gospel or like sharing just things I was learning on TikTok. And it started like, I started getting thousands of views. And this was at the time where like that was unheard of. I got hundreds of thousands of views really quickly. Within a couple weeks, I got like 10,000 followers. I had tons of people messaging me, asking me advice on the gospel, Christianity, life, like telling me some serious things. And I was just like, it was too much. It was kind of overwhelming because I was a brand new believer. I'd only been reading the Bible for maybe a couple months, couple weeks. And I remember reading in James where it says like not everybody should be teachers because teachers will be judged more harshly. So I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I can't do this. This is way too much. So I deleted the app, stopped posting on TikTok, which like looking back, like you could say, okay, that's like a mistake I made because I would have had millions of followers because I started so early. But it was actually good that the Lord prevented me from like having a platform too early. So it's good that now like I feel like I'm in a season where I've spent those 7 years studying. I've spent the time in prayer. I've had way more experiences, gone to like way more churches. Just experienced like yeah, just so much. Like there's a whole world of Christianity out there. There's a whole world of churches that I did not know. Even like going to my college, it was like a Reformed church. I didn't even know what that was. So now having dealt with people, now I know like kind of where most people come from. I feel like maybe the Lord's putting me in a position where I should be speaking more. But like I said, like I never really want to. I made a video about this the other day. Like every time I'm talking, every time I like share something, speak, preach the gospel, like I never want to. I like really would rather just stay at home. I'd rather just keep to myself. It's just much easier to do that. We travel a lot for the volleyball season. Like constantly, we're spending time with people, traveling. Like just so when I get home, I'm like, it's just such a relief to just get away from people. Even like our season ended a couple of months ago, and I've been off the grid for like a couple of months. Like my coach and I have barely even been talking. Like I don't want to deal with all that stuff because it's pretty exhausting. Like just constantly being around people when you're traveling at tournaments. Um, it's good. That's like kind of my job now is like ministry, building relationships. Like that's not who I am. Like I'm a pretty independent, quiet dude. But that's not like what we're called to do. As Christians, we're not supposed to just be by ourselves. We're not like we should go out into the world, preach the gospel, make relationships, get out of your comfort zone and do that. So that's like I guess what I'm trying to do more, and even like with live streaming and stuff, like yeah, just need to practice getting it out because you're like so many people when they're behind a camera, they get just like quiet and awkward. And I guess like part of the reason for that is because there's now a record of what you're doing, but people don't realize that there always is a record of what you're doing. Like you're gonna die one day, you're gonna meet the Lord, and everything you've ever done is going to be shown to you, shown to everybody. Like there's nothing, you're not gonna be able to hide from anything. That's why I think it's funny when people are like, "Oh no, I don't want to be behind the camera," like because I guess they could get caught doing something, or all their imperfections are going to be now exposed. It's like, well, they already are. So why not just lay it out now? So I guess that's part of like what I need to get better at. Like, so I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of wise if you're like entering a new environment. You don't want to be like so quick to speak. You don't want to be just like running your mouth when you don't really know what's going on. You don't know the people. You don't know like what's acceptable or what's not. So there is like some wisdom in that, but we can't take it too far. I don't know. I just had this thought right now. So like, yeah, somebody was saying that like introverts aren't really like the reason why they feel exhausted when they're outside, like hanging out with people, is because they grew up being just like kind of weird, and the things they did and said weren't like accepted by everybody. So then they've like figured out how to put on this face, how to like act accordingly to where people accept them. And like that's the exhausting part about being out with people, which I guess makes sense. I mean, I guess I was pretty weird when I was young. Like people would always tell me like I have ADHD or something, or I should get checked by a doctor. I'm like, my parents ended up taking me to the doctor. Oh my! And the doctor said like, okay, are his grades bad? And like they weren't. So the doctor's like, yeah, he probably doesn't have ADHD, which I think is a complete hoax. There's no such thing as ADHD. It's really just people are wired differently. People have either a more creative brain. It's easier for people to focus. Some people it's easier for them to focus, but people who are creative, like in order for you to be creative, you have to connect a bunch of different things. So because nobody, like, you never really create anything new. Nobody's created anything new except for God. So when we create things, we're really just like putting two things together. So if you have a creative mind, you're constantly thinking about like different things that don't relate, and your mind is trying to put them together. And that's not helpful for like being in school, sitting at a desk, focusing on one thing. Your mind's naturally like wandering, they say. But I don't think the government, I don't think society wants you to be creative. They don't want you to stand out, because you'd be, I guess, a greater asset to them if you just did what they told you to do, if you were just a worker. Especially like from the Industrial Revolution, they just needed more workers. And I think those guys like Rockefeller and those guys had a major impact on our school system. So that was, I guess, a little rant of, oh yeah, I was saying that because, yeah, maybe the reason why I get exhausted when I'm around people is because I'm trying to like act right. But it's good to break out of that, good to not really care too much. Because like, I mean, you all know those people that they just say everything that comes to their brain. And like you might even think I'm, I'm that guy right now, but like it's so hard to just say everything that comes to mind. I've never been that guy, and I've been around so many people that are like that. Just say anything that comes to their brain. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But there is some good in that. I've seen like some of the best disciplers, some of the best like mentors and coaches or something. They're always like teaching. They're always sharing. They're always mentoring. Um, and that's something that the Bible actually talks about. Like I think it's in Exodus, somewhere in the Old Testament. God gave a command to the leaders saying, whenever you stand up, sit down, go on your way, teach your children the things of God, teach your children the law. Like, so the best mentors I've had have literally done that. They've, everywhere we're going, they're preaching, they're they're helping me, they're mentoring me, and like I think some of that comes naturally, like they just naturally talk and just like share whatever's on their brain. Um, but it's something like I need to learn how to do, especially if I'm gonna like get married or have kids. Like you should be teaching them all the time. So I guess I'm like kind of practicing doing that, preparing for the future. Um, but it's something I've just like literally have been impacted by so much from those guys that just won't shut up. Like, and maybe Michael, you're listening to this, my coach, who just doesn't stop, which is like good, and I need that, and it's like such a blessing to have that in my life. But like that's never been me, and that's so hard to do. And I guess the question like I put in this video title is like, do you have something to say? Like you really do, especially if you're a Christian. The Bible says that we overcome by the word of our testimony, by the blood of the lamb and the word of our testimony. It's like you don't need to be this like perfect Christian. You don't need to be this perfect like super knowledgeable guy about everything. Called to be is testify of the things that we've seen, the things that we've experienced. Like I've lived, I guess I've lived the Lord for 7 years. Um, but even before that, like I'd experienced things. I'd seen the Lord work in my life. Like even though I wasn't the most theologically sound or I knew the Bible so well, like I had an experience. Like the Lord changed my life. Like, and that's what we all can share is like what we've seen the Lord do. And you see that throughout the Bible, throughout the Old Testament. God's like, write these things down. Share what it is that I've done, what I'm doing. Like, don't forget. The Israelites forgot when he split the sea. They forgot when he provided the food. Like, it's just so easy to forget. I have tons and tons of stories of the Lord doing miraculous things, the Lord teaching me things, and like I have to write them down. I will forget them. And I want to start like making videos like this, sharing these things so that there's a record of them and that so I mean I think there's a reason why the Lord does these things is so that we can well in the book of Peter it says so that we can proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness. The reason he like saved you if you're a Christian is so that you may proclaim his excellencies. You may proclaim his goodness and what he's done. It's not just like for yourself so that you're like you can live a nice comfortable Christian life or that's oh now you're saved. Oh good. Like I'm good now. I can just do whatever I want, live my life. So that's not why he did it. He like you might think oh God's selfish like he deserves to be. He gave you everything you have, everything you need, and he did a work in your life so that you could praise him, so that glory would be attributed to him, so that people would recognize him as God. He created us in his image that we could show the world, show creation who he is, just a glimpse of his glory. So that's why you love it when somebody's good at volleyball. That's why you love it when somebody's good at music or good at anything because they're just like showing who God is, just is minutely like you're just getting a glimpse of perfection. That's why when somebody's athletic and they move so smoothly and so controlled, like that's who God is. He's controlled. He created rhythm. Like he created all these things. He's perfect. So that's why it's so satisfying. And you were made to like live to the fullest of your potential, right? Like God's a great God. And if we're his children, like we should expect great things. And that's, I've always lived like that. Expect great things. And you should use your gifts and be great at them. If that's volleyball, if that's music, if that's talking. Some people are just good talkers. Like do it for his glory. Whatever you do. There's even another verse that says, those who speak as if the oracles of God. So if you're speaking, like speak as though it is like from the Lord. Like obviously you don't want to make up something like, oh, this is from the Lord, but like speak what the Lord's spoken. You know, like know the word. Like it should be impactful. It should be important. So I'm gonna try to like not just run my mouth and talk about random stuff that nobody cares about, but I just got to practice. Yeah, I'm not really doing like live streams on. I'm not doing volleyball live streams on here anymore, or like just volleyball stuff. But I will be doing like volleyball practices live stream on my other account, Diego Perez Beach Volleyball, and then this video should post. So just give me feedback. My thoughts with this channel are live stream every day. Live stream every day, and then maybe almost every day, and then do like longer form vlog stuff once a week, like higher production stuff. And then my other channel, Diego Perez Beach Volleyball, will be just volleyball stuff. So I'm at practice now. I gotta go.